Um, uh, Councilwoman Fuller tasked us with completing a master plan progress report at the end of 2019. We really started getting involved with that in February of 2020. Unfortunately, COVID put the brakes on that. And we're still in the middle of COVID, but we have found that it's very, very difficult to find some of the answers to a lot of our questions. So we're reevaluating our methodology with how the current report is currently written. Over the next few weeks, we're going to be recontacting many of the entities that have been identified in the master plan to get a better, more thorough evaluation of the goals and objectives. In our first pass at this report, we found that many of those goals and objectives were unanswered, or if they were answered, it was a conflicting answer with another entity on the same goal or objective. So we're really trying to wrap our heads around how best to relate that information in the report to get a better understanding of actually where we are, so we can actually, if we can, quantify any progress. While this reevaluation has proven more intense, it will be more complete, and we're hoping to have an update to this report in early 2021 to let you know where we're at. And so at that point, that's all we have when it comes to the master plan progress report. We can open it up for any questions or comments.
Thank you. Any question or comments on that? Hearing none from the committee. Adam, do you want to go on to the next topic?
Yes, sir. When it comes to the UDC, we're going to talk about some code text amendments. I'll start with the Shreveport UDC and then conclude it with the Caddo Parish Unified Development Code. In regards to the Shreveport UDC, staff will be proposing some code text amendments in December related to special exception uses. Special exception uses will be approved by the ZBA, not the MPC. Certain examples would include manufactured homes, the possibility of maybe transient vacation rentals, hair shop, beauty shop, parlor type of uses. I think there was one more, can't think of it off the top of my head. But those types of uses, that'll be coming in December. This month, November, we deferred one of the code text amendment cases to December that dealt with the neighborhood participation plan. I'll give you just a real quick overview of a report that we gave the NPC board in regards to that. Is it being shared? I'll go to the next slide. When it comes to neighborhood participation, I can't, you need to move. It's to ensure that applicants pursue early and effective public participation in conjunction with land use applications. We've developed several different types of tools that can help identify neighborhoods to when a public participation meeting is happening. Whether it be through email, directly contacting the neighborhood association. We're also going to take advantage of, what was the name of that program? Notify Me, and also through postcards that we would send out once an applicant actually filed for a neighborhood participation plan. Slide. A neighborhood participation plan would be required for certain types of land use applications. Go to the next slide. Where we're at was in 2019, we introduced these code text amendments to the board. They did approve the neighborhood participation plan, but they didn't make it a requirement. They only encourage applicants to do it. Applicants, no one has taken the MPC up on that offer. So we're coming back due to some very sensitive cases that have come up in the past year. One of the reoccurring, if you want to call it, complaints was, well, they didn't reach out to the neighborhood. They didn't reach out to the neighborhood. We would like to talk to the applicant in some capacity to discuss this case. So we're reintroducing the same code text amendment, slightly adjusted, that would require participation in the neighborhood participation plan. Also, we would add the administrative special use permit to the list of applications, as well as a note at the bottom that said the executive director has the authority to any type of land use application. Go to the next slide. So the different types of land use applications that would require a neighborhood participation plan would be rezoning, administrative special use or special use permits, commercial variances, anybody applies for a PUD or SPUD, certain types of major subdivision plats, and as I just said, any land development application the executive director deems necessary due to its sensitive nature. That could be an annexation, that could be a particular type of site plan, examples like that. Next slide. The process is exactly the same as that it was before. They would have a pre-application meeting to which we would inform them of the rules of the neighborhood participation plan, and it would then be up to them to prepare it. Whenever they would submit their land use application, they would also submit a date and a time for their neighborhood meeting. Once they gave the NPC that date and the time, we would actually send out notification to the neighborhoods, as well as send a postcard to all property owners within 500 feet of where their proposed site is. Once the applicant went through the neighborhood participation plan meeting, they would fill out a report, and then they would file that report, which would be included in the NPC staff report that would go in front of the public body or the NPC board. Next slide. That time or that process fits in with the current application timeline that is already in place. One of the early complaints was that the neighborhood participation plan would add time to the application process. We actually fit it in to where it doesn't extend the timeline in any way, shape, or form. Next slide. So that just shows what it currently is. Next slide. And then how it fits. Next slide. When it comes to examples of the neighborhood participation plan, here's some communities that we actually looked at in Arizona, California, Florida, New Orleans, Topeka, Kansas, and Tucker, Georgia. There's different types of feedback. Not only did we look at the code on these types of, in these municipalities, we actually called the planning body and asked what are some of the pros and cons. For the most part, it was nothing but pros and compliments. If there was any type of negative reaction, I believe it was from New Orleans, to where it said that citizens sometimes use their neighborhood participation plan to slow down projects, if not delay them completely. Next slide. So in summary, the idea behind the neighborhood participation plan is not intended to produce complete consensus on all applications. We understand that there's going to be disagreement. The idea behind it is it's used as a tool for the neighborhood to be able to be pre-informed of what's going on the project, and to allow some type of feedback towards the applicant. However, at this meeting, they don't have to, they can agree to disagree, and the application will still move forward on the time frame. Mr. Colvin, that's all I have when it comes to the neighborhood participation plan. Mr. Clark, would you like to add anything?
Thank you so much, Adam. I just wanted to share, since we do have Councilwoman Fuller on the call, this is something that I think is going to be very beneficial to groups that sometimes are discontented with decisions that the MPC recommends, or are upset with whatever is coming into their neighborhoods or communities, and they don't have a clue what actually happens. This also gives the opportunity for a thorough presentation to be made and time allotted for all of the questions to be answered by the neighborhood. There are some past examples where this could have been very advantageous. We're dealing with some projects that are coming in now that it possibly would have been advisable to the applicants to have conducted a neighborhood participation plan meeting, but they chose not to. And what happens, as you all know, once the rumors start circulating about projects, it spreads like wildfire, whether right or wrong, and a lot of misinformation gets out there, and then it makes it very difficult for a person to sit down after that has occurred and come to some agreements or come to be able to collaborate in order to produce a successful project. We're thinking that the importance is, since no one volunteered to do a neighborhood participation plan, if it's a part of the process, it does not add additional time. It is not the determining factor whether or not a application is recommended for approval or not, but it does give citizens an opportunity to get all of their questions answered. It's not the best forum for them to get those questions answered at a city council meeting or MPC public hearing, Caddo Parish Commission meeting. And oddly enough, we have cases that were deferred that will be coming forth probably to both the Caddo Parish Commission and the city council after the meeting is held in December. So, and we are going to conduct meetings after the fact, but they won't be as effective as what we're proposing to happen at this meeting with this project. But we're going to start that process in this month, where we will be meeting both with citizens in the city of Shreveport in one of the neighborhoods where there's an application, and the parish of Caddo. Thank you so much, Adam. I don't want to prolong the discussion.
Do you want to bring up the us reaching out to the neighborhoods, or hold off on that?
And it's important that, you know, like Adam is sharing with you, that it's not a one-sided process. The neighborhood associations we have listed, I think we have a list of 96 neighborhood associations that are registered with the MPC office.
Neighborhood association.
They are legitimate neighborhood associations, and we have made them a part of the neighborhood database. But we're going to be reaching out, just answering a question that popped up on the chat window. But we are going to be reaching out to the neighborhood associations, getting input from them, making sure that they understand exactly what's happening, providing, if you will, education for them so that they'll be aware that this program is for both them and the development community. We're going to be reaching out to the development community to make sure that they have a good understanding that no one is trying to force anything down anyone's throat, but we're trying to build a relationship that will translate into a positive dialogue where they can come up with possible solutions and compromises to allow projects to go on. This means that we are business friendly, and it also means that we're neighborhood friendly.
Thanks, Alan. Appreciate you, Adam, on that. One thing I've learned over the time I've spent with the MPC, over communication is better than no communication in all means. So getting this out to the neighborhoods, the homeowners associations, the various, like you said, via text, email, and this app would make it better for everybody. But Adam, I don't know all the details of it, but I think everybody on the the committee here would like to see it as it works in play. And I don't know if some of these on the committee would like to be added to that email blast also, so they could see what it looks like. I know I would. But anyway, anything else on this from the people on the committee?
If I may say one more thing, Mr. Colvin.
Absolutely.
Those co-text amendments that Adam is alluding to are going to be very interesting because they're going to address some of the concerns, especially in the city of Shreveport. The ordinances in the outlining Caddo Parish areas are much more liberal when it comes to manufactured housing as a source of affordable housing. But basically, manufactured homes, even though there are islands of manufactured homes inside the city limits, because at one point, manufactured homes were used by right in the city, and then after later concentration by the MPC board and the city council, they became prohibited, other than in 3 specific areas. But this is going to give an opportunity in targeted redevelopment areas in the city where there is a desperate need for a method of infill housing. This is going to give an opportunity for persons who are incapable of building a stick-built home, but find that a manufactured home will be affordable, that they will be able to apply for a special exception use. Under Section 106, special exception uses before the Zoning Board of Appeals were quite common, but under the UDC, that approval process was eliminated. But we will be able to do those type things to where persons will be able to apply their extensive use standards and design standards that will be applied so that these homes will fit neatly into the neighborhoods and they will be compatible with everything else that's in the neighborhood. But this is going to be an exciting possible amendment that will be coming before the board and the city council that's we feel is going to have a significant impact on the need for housing in the city of Shreveport. And with
Thanks,
that,
Alan.
I'm finished, Mr. Chair.
Anybody have any questions or comments? All right. Adam, you're up to the last one.
Actually, that was just City of Shreveport. Now I was going to quickly talk about the Caddo Parish UDC. Per Mr. Clark's instructions, we're evaluating how to amend the current Parish UDC to address not only citizens' concerns as well as those that have been voiced by the Caddo Parish Commission over the past, let's say, year. So community planning staff is evaluating that, and we are basically taking the Shreveport UDC as it is now because it includes all the amendments, and then we're evaluating how CAF and other Caddo Parish residents, their concerns, and we hope to have a draft available for review in January of 2021. And that's all I have in regards to the category.
I think someone's trying to ask a question.
Yeah, I have a question or comment.
I think that's Commissioner Jackson.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Adam, Mr. Clark, I would encourage, I don't know if y'all have, I'm not going to assume y'all have not. I know it's difficult with the pandemic going on and everybody not doing big gatherings, but I would strongly encourage before any draft is released to have at least 1 or 2 meetings with the Caddo Alliance for Freedom, so it's not said that, well, this was This was something that was put together. This was something that was shoved down our throat. I would strongly encourage some community outreach, community education, even if it's a big Zoom call where people call in and just they can just voice what they want to hear. They can just, you can just hear them out. We don't have to respond. We don't have to do anything. Just hear them out. And I would strongly encourage that. And because of course they're still going to be pushing this narrative that, you know, what we said we wanted to come out from under the MPC and all that. But I mean, I would just move forward with having those public hearings, having those community listening sessions. I would call it community listening sessions or something where you could hear those folks out and their concerns. That's it for me on that particular piece.
Thanks, Stephen. Appreciate that.
If I may, Mr. Colvin.
Absolutely.
Commissioner Jackson, I think that's great advice. We were not going to ignore by any stretch of the imagination the sentiments of the Caddo Alliance for Freedom and other citizens out in the parish of Caddo. We've been trying to figure out, as you suggested, how to meet with these groups. We're reaching out to entities in the parish to get suggestions on how we will get this information out to the citizens in Caddo Parish. But we take everything you say very seriously, and we will make sure that we reach out to them and make sure that this information is made available and solicit their input.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, even if it's got to be, I think the parish still has an enterprise account for Zoom, and so I think it's unlimited people who can get on, or you could have them call in. You could do it where they can submit their stuff as they, you know, they could take questions. I've seen a number of ways in which public listening sessions have been kind of done during this pandemic. So I think it's worth doing. So we look forward to seeing that. And I would also reach out to Todd, reach out to Representative McCormick, reach out to Senator Tarver, those folks who represent those rural areas. Make sure that those folks are involved and let it be known if their officials don't engage, say, hey, we engaged your representative and they didn't engage back. Because as I have said, the real failure to communicate some of these things was on the parish commissioner and the individuals the state representative who represented that area for 12 years together and never ever held a public meeting on the UDC. Then all of a sudden it was just this big backlash. So I you know, I would just kind of CYA at least for y'all on that point. So thank you.
Everything you said, we're writing down. And we'll sure that we do those things.
Okay.
That's all I
All
have.
right, anybody else? All right, anybody else need to talk about this one? And did we have anybody else join in? Want to do a quick check?
We're still at only 4 with Mr. Chris Everson has joined in, but we still don't have a quorum.
I understand. All right, Adam, do you have anything else you need to talk about?
The final thing is in regards to the MPC website and one-stop shop. Caddo Parish did appropriate some funds for the creation of a platform that will help the MPC better have contact with the outside world, mainly due to this pandemic. Those funds have been transferred to the MPC. Following city protocol, we have selected a vendor, Granicus, and that contract is being reviewed at legal. Once legal finalizes it, they'll send it back to the MPC for signature, and then we'll send it to the mayor's office for review and signature. Once the mayor signs off on it, then it will we'll get the project started. I'll give a real quick presentation of the project. Go over some slides very quickly. Next slide. So yeah, the project was to develop a mobile-first experience, create an online atmosphere where citizens can safely engage and communicate digitally with the MPC staff. We're also going to use that as a rebranding opportunity, not necessarily to rebrand our image, but just to update the website to bring it to 2021, not to keep it back in 2015, which is when the current website was created. Next slide. We're going to focus on a citizens first approach. One of the things that we're going to be able to do is this new website will be very mobile friendly. Currently right now, if you were to go to the MPC website on a desktop computer, it would look the way it is. If you take it to a mobile phone or a tablet, it still looks exactly the same way. With this project, if you're on a smartphone or a tablet, it will address that. So while all the functions will still be there, it'll be more user friendly. It won't give you a screen to where you'll have to blow up and get to certain things. If you want to be able to push a button and immediately go to applications, it'll be very easy for you to do that. And also with this project, we'll have ongoing support and continuous improvement. Currently right now, who our vendor is with our website, we don't get very good customer support. With the vendor we chose, some of the reviews that we got back is excellent customer support. It's 24/7. So if something ever happens with it, and let's say it's at 8 o'clock on a Friday night, somehow that situation will get fixed. We don't have to wait till Monday to address it. Next slide. Even though we have chosen a vendor, we didn't just look at one. We looked at local firms as well as national firms. We also looked at a lot of cities that had a lot of the website capabilities that we were looking for. Next slide. And I've already mentioned some of this, but to make it mobile ready, focus on the initial design and how to use data. So if you can look at this example, and it's of Del Rio, Texas, if you pull up their website doesn't look like those with circles. It's actually a decent website, but because the website recognizes they're on a mobile device, then they can very easily navigate through if they want to know who the board members are, if they want to know what the applications are, if they want to know what an agenda is or whatnot. We'll be able to easily identify that, make it more user-friendly, all right? When it comes to accessibility, mainly with ADA compliance, our current website is not ADA compliant. Believe it or not, most government websites aren't ADA compliant. The vendor that we're using makes that a priority. So if anyone was blind or colorblind, they would be able to navigate through our website accordingly. The service finder, this is probably the most important feature. There'll be a window on it on a main website. They'll call it the service finder. So people coming onto the website don't have to scroll through the menu board. They'll see the service finder. They're saying, hey, I want to pay for my certificate of occupancy. Hey, I want to apply for a site plan. Hey, I want to apply for my food truck permit. They can go straight to it more easily as opposed to surfing our website for longer and longer. This also goes back to the service finder. Once they click on, let's say it's for a certificate of appropriateness and historic preservation, it will give them multiple options on how they want to apply for it. This one comes from Grand Rapids, Michigan example for certificate of occupancy or appropriateness, I'm sorry. As the screen pops up, it will show you what you need to do online. If you aren't comfortable with doing it online, you hit the tab or a paper form. It'll give you those instructions. If you want to call somebody, you hit the phone button, or if you want to come in person, it'll tell you, what the protocol is for setting up an appointment. Again, this is all about, the customer experience, and identifying, ways in which we can improve that for ultimate customer satisfaction. There will also be some GIS features associated with the new website. This one's from Minnetonka, Minnesota. In this example, there'll be a button in which a citizen can put in their address. Maybe it's not a citizen, maybe it's a potential developer or business that's looking to come to Shreveport, and they're looking at a piece of property. They can put that address in, hit search. It will tell you who the elected officials are. It'll tell you what it's zoned. It'll tell you if it's in a historic district. Any GIS data that we want to put within that blue screen or whatever screen color we decide, it'll immediately be able to pop up, as well as links to which they can get to our own online GIS maps, as well as contact information if they want to have more questions about it. Del Rio, Texas, before I was talking about Del Rio with the mobile first capabilities. This is actually what their homepage looks like, so you can see the difference. And if you're looking at it on a PC, desktop versus mobile, but part of this rebranding, as I said at the beginning, that we want the homepage to have a wow factor, and also that if we wanted to add video. Not that we necessarily do that, but it'll have those capabilities. It'll also have us the capability to create what we're calling an emergency page. So if something happens, if we needed to get information out that had to do with a natural disaster, a hurricane, tornado, flash flood, or even part of the pandemic, we can immediately turn on the emergency banner, and it'll keep all the old site off to the side, but the site will still be able to run, but we'll be able to put emergency information onto the main part of the website. We chose Granicus. Next slide. They were founded in '99. They're in 40 of the 50 of the most populous U.S. cities. They have over 4,000 government clients for their website, so we felt that they were extremely capable of producing the results that we wanted. They've won tons of awards, and as I mentioned, we're in the middle of the getting the contract approved, and hopefully look to start probably after Thanksgiving. I'm looking at it being signed here next week by the MPC, and then as soon as the mayor, like I said, signs it, we'll get started. Probably won't get a lot of action before Thanksgiving, but we'll definitely ramp it up. They gave us a timeline of anywhere from 4 to 6 months. We're looking to have a soft opening, if you want to call it that, or a soft launch for beta testing anywhere maybe in mid to late February, definitely by the beginning of March. Keep going. Going. Oh, and I'm done. So that's all I have when it comes to the MPC website, One Stop Shop.
Thanks, Adam. Any questions on that from Adam? For Adam? I appreciate it again. It sounds exciting. We're going to have it, you think, around the soft part of it around March or April. That'll be good. Hopefully, the pandemic will all be behind us by the end. Alan, is there anything else we need to cover? I know we can't do the minutes, but anything else?
Just one last thing that we are preparing to, because the Caddo Parish Commission was the entity that applied for the CARES Act funding for us to be able to provide this one-stop shop webpage. We are preparing the first presentation to be made to the Caddo Parish Commission in the very near future, and then we'll work with ensuring that the other entities are well aware of how this basically works. I don't know if we ever got a quorum, Mr. Chair. I'm trying to check to see for you, but I see Adam has an additional comment. I'm going to check to see if we have a quorum.
I just want to let Mr. Colvin know that I know Mr. Kim Kraft and Mr. FICO Kemp are on the call. So I don't know I'm done with the community planning initiatives if you wanted to open it up for public comments.
That sounds great. I let Alan check one more time and see if we have a quorum for the minutes. Give him a minute on that. And if we don't, we'll open it up for public comment. Appreciate that.
You're ready for public comments, Mr. Chair. We don't have a quorum.
Thanks, Alan. All right, and I know we have two guests on, it sounds like. The floor is yours. Just let me know who's talking and your address, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
I have no comment.
I know that Mr. Kraft made the comment that being a former neighborhood association president, representative, he thought that the neighborhood participation plan would produce some very positive end results. I think he may be gone now. He's not shared that with you.
I understand. I appreciate that, Alan. Anybody else before we ask for a motion for adjournment? Well, can't do that. Don't have a quorum either. Yes.
Yeah, one point of order. Is this the agenda for the next meeting? I'm sorry, the meeting date. Take a look at that.
I think it's in February. I think it was in February, right, Emily? The next meeting.
I don't know that this is the right date that it's showing on here. Adam's team can take a look at that to see about that next proposed date.
Yeah, well, there's been discussion in the past that these meetings might take place every other month. I know that that's 3 months away, but we've always found that the committees change, at least from the elected bodies, in January. So it might be helpful to wait until February to have the next meeting, just that way that the committees by the elected bodies can be formed, and then moving forward. It doesn't have to be February 5th. We always pick it back to the Friday following the NPC meeting because we know that some committee members are in town. Granted, we don't have live meetings, at least right now we don't. So I just put that in. I put the words proposed. I usually put a question mark behind it, but that date and time is completely flexible. I know Mr. Clark will agree that whatever is best for the committee. So I'll leave that back up to the chair, whether he wants to suggest that we poll the members again or what. I'll leave it up to him.
I only brought it up because it's got 2020 on there, and I think you meant 21.
That was a user error by myself.
Right. No problem. Thank you.
Sounds good. Yeah, let's leave it for now. When we'll poll the committee members closer to 1st of January and see what works for everybody and go from there. But I appreciate everybody's time. And again, if nobody else has anything and we don't have a quorum to make a motion, we'll end the meeting unless somebody needs to speak. I think that's it. I appreciate everybody's time. Adam, appreciate the good work. Thank you, Mr. Clark. Y'all have a good day.
Thanks. Enjoy the weekend.